Welcome back to the cronecast at the Rising Moon. Hey, today I have a love and relationship and romance reading for you with 4 piles and a pick a card. Take a moment, see which deck calls out to you. I will be using oracle cards from all of these decks in all of the readings. This is just a way to pick your pile. 1 through 4. Take a moment, concentrate, see which one calls out to you. There's going to be an insert here where you have a little bit of time with the piles. I'll see you at the time of your reading. Welcome back. If you chose pile number 1, this is your reading. We're putting the number 1 over there so people can easily fast forward to their readings, but there will be timestamps in the description box down below. This was the messages of love oracle marking pile number 1, but as I said in the intro, all of the oracle cards will be present in all of the readings. Hey, by the rules of YouTube, I need to let you know this deck was given to me by DeBerg. There will be a discount code to purchase it in the description box down below. I don't receive anything if you do. They send me decks and I feature them sometimes. And this is the Guiding Light Tarot. What is coming up in love and relationship and romance for pile number 1? Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3. Hey guys, please don't forget to subscribe. It helps my channel. If you like the reading, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. If you want to book me for a private reading, there's a link to my website in the description box down below. All right, we have the Queen of Swords in reverse. We're doing an 8-card spread with 2 qualifiers if we need them. With the 6 of Wands in the upright, we've got the Tower in reverse. We've got the Knight of Wands in the upright. All right, so the Queen of Swords in reverse, sometimes this is somebody who has not been told the truth or is having difficulty facing some truth. But the 6 of Wands in the upright is progress. Sometimes it's somebody new coming in. And the Tower in reverse is frequently a card of starting over. Like it's a rock bottom sort of energy. It's a managed change. With the Knight of Wands in the upright, bespeaks somebody coming in with an ardent interest. That comes out with the Page of Pentacles in the upright. Somebody new. With the Magician in reverse, and then I get the Emperor in reverse. We've got a couple of warnings around this, so be careful here. All right, and then I've got the 9 of Swords in the upright, which is about fears as well. We're going to take the 2 qualifiers immediately on this one because it's a sticky situation. 2 of Cups in the upright with the World in reverse. Okay, so listen, your relationship past may have featured people who are emotionally withholding or emotionally punishing. I'm saying this because the Emperor in reverse with the Tower in reverse, you're starting over after a series of difficult relationships. You have made progress in feeling your own personal power and understanding what is lovable about you. I do have somebody new coming in, but it is going to trigger some fears for you. The 9 of Swords is about fears. It's about trying to, usually it's something that is in our head versus in our reality, meaning that sometimes we get in our own way. We block out things, particularly if you've had a difficult relationship past, which this looks like you've learned a lot of lessons about what serves you and what does not serve you. You actually kind of, it's like you think you're only going to be safe if you're alone, and that is not true. The World in reverse is the start of something new. So I do have a new relationship for some people coming in. Remember, general readings, it's going to be different for different people. But in this case, you have potentially gotten over a relationship. It could be in the recent past or the distant past, in which the Emperor in reverse to me is simply an emotional abuser, someone who abuses their power over somebody. In the worst incarnation, it is a sociopath. In the best incarnation, it is somebody who makes you feel powerless, and in love readings. So the 2 Cups in the upright, though, is a deep level soul connection. That is usually somebody with an ardent interest in you. You have something coming up after a series of difficult lessons that you had to learn, potentially about what you were willing to confront in people, meaning that you may have been a very romantic person who went more by what you believed somebody's motives might be rather than judging first from their 3D actions, which that is the way to stay safest in relationships. Listen, I work in the spiritual community and I do believe in soulmates and I do believe in twin flames, but I also believe that healthy relationships are about understanding that you should not accept lesser treatment than you deserve. So if somebody isn't willing to prioritize you, if somebody isn't willing to open up to you, if somebody isn't willing to connect to you, but rather they're acting from a place of fear, in a healthy incarnation, you kind of release that and you open yourself up to healthier connections, reciprocal connections. Here's the thing, this stuff appears to be in the past. Whatever difficult truth was there, you've been facing it about and you made good progress. The Six of Wands is a card of progress and triumph over adversity. It is a victorious card. You have been victorious in starting over, like your zest and interest in life is returning to you. But in the lessons that you've learned, you might take a very dim view of romance at this particular time. And please understand with this Two of Cups and the World in reverse, that something brand new is starting. That's a different person. You're a different version of yourself after you've healed. Let's see what the messages of love Oracle cards want to add to this. What do we have coming up for pile number 1, please? What do we have coming up for pile number 1? Let's get 1 and 2 and 3. I love this particular Oracle deck, particularly for my fellow readers. Really helps clarify relationship reads. This looks good, except that you're in your head. You're in your head about it. Meaning that you might have had a lot of work on releasing relationships that don't serve you. We have forgiveness. Forgiving yourself or another will help you move forward. That is that whole stuck in a fear-based energy around relationships. Make sure that it's not that you're holding yourself on the hook being like, hey, I have terrible taste. Nothing can ever work out for me because I have terrible taste in people. You are actually probably simply trying to do your shadow work through a series of unfulfilling relationships where you could recognize that the person was there to help teach you a lesson. That's what karmic relationships do. Intuition, you already know the answer you seek. I'm going to take one more on this one. Children. Children are important to this relationship. This can be a card of inner child healing, of formative damage work, of shadow work, telling you that you've done the work. The only thing is that you may need to concentrate on forgiveness of self. Let's get a couple of Amira's love deck. This is, I think, a reader on YouTube. Her name is Amira. I bought the deck because it has very good descriptions on it. There's actually a review of it on my channel if you want to look for it. But it's very clear. Here we go, 1 and 2 and 3. What do we got in love and relationships for pile number 1? Let's see what we've got. Beauty queen, shining on stage and adored. You're attracting attention. That's what the Six of Wands also conveys, is somebody who's looked up to, somebody who is admired. With true love, look at you go, pile number 1. Then I want one more on this with work, profession, college, and workplace. So this is saying that your next person is likely to come to you through a 3D meeting, likely in a workplace environment. Try to be open to it. It looks like you may be blocking out connection because you're afraid that the past will repeat itself. The past is not going to repeat itself. When you become different, so do everything about your energy changes, and you will attract, like energy attracts like energy, matching energy attracts matching energy. When you're in a healthier energy, healthier people are attracted to you. Now the children thing, it could be somebody who is a single parent. You might be don't make decisions based on guilt or what you think you should do, for it is only in being true to yourself that you can be true to others. Well, I really like that card because that fits with the forgiveness. Hey, listen, if you've had a series of unsatisfying relationships, please don't think that that defines romance for you. As you heal, if you're not healthy, you can't really have healthy relationships. I've got to adjust my camera ever so slightly. And so if you've healed and become healthier, understand that a healthy relationship might be the most wonderful thing you've ever experienced. Don't judge your future by your past. You've been resolving things from your past and learning the lessons that are needed. And this is very much saying that you have somebody who is going to be it's like an instant attraction for them. It looks like they have a hard time getting close to you. We have end of a learning phase. That is exactly what we were just talking about. If you've been healing, what you've really been doing is learning your worth, what you should accept, who the correct people are to help meet and match your emotional needs. A lot of people have to heal from codependency because we live in a society that tells us that, our value is somehow conveyed to us through somebody else wanting us, which is not true. You have intrinsic and absolutely It is absolute. You have an absolute value in the eyes of the divine. You have an absolute value just as yourself as a person. You are lovable just as you are, and you deserve love. Somebody else wanting you does not make you lovable. And sometimes we all decide we want somebody who may not be for us. And the only reason I'm bringing that up is you've had to heal from something. And the energy around it is difficult. Let's go 1 and 2 and 3. What are our other cards from the Higher Love Oracle? We're going to get going here. Transformation, reassessment, patience and progress, one more, centered and balanced. We're going to leave it there. Oh, well, new opportunities. I was going to leave it there, and then I glanced at the next card, and I was like, yep, that fits with absolutely everything we've seen here. You have done difficult work in understanding yourself emotionally and shedding potentially the need-based love of the past. Particularly if you grew up in an emotionally withholding environment, it is completely natural to look for essentially, I kind of want to say balm for your soul in other relationships. If you had a lot of people from families where there was divorce end up feeling abandoned. And so relationships can mean just that little bit too much to them sometimes. Remember, you are lovable. It's very natural because it's a subconscious part of ourselves where we try to take responsibilities for the choices of our caretakers. And that's the forgiveness thing. Even if you weren't told you were lovable, even if you weren't told that you were worthy, you are. And even if you've had a series or even just one relationship that did not work out, or the person was punishing or withholding or always trying to make you feel like you were on the wrong foot, that does not mean that you are. It means that that particular person was taking their emotional damage out on you. When you've healed from that emotional damage, you can have completely different relationships. We have girl talk, time with friends, moving on, happily single, living in the moment and having fun. Being happily single is the most important part of having healthy relationships, because truly nobody shows up and makes you happy. You're happy in your life, and you can still want a relationship and simply be happy being single, because you know that your happiness does not hinge on finding another person. So if you are enjoying your life, if you have interests, if you have friends, and find an interest. If you don't have an interest, find an interest. Because it is very important to have those passions, those pursuits, and those relationships outside of a relationship in order to keep it in a healthy balance. You need support sometimes, that other person needs support. Friendships are important. And then I have the chaser in a codependent relationship, fear of abandonment issue. We already talked about that. You're moving on from that with engagement ring. Engagement, partnership, commitment, eternity, completion, and union. And then I have hammer, sabotage, rebuilding, interrogation, repetitive, persistent, working on it. So I'm going to leave it there because I don't think that there's anything more in that particular draw. But it looks to me like these cards are talking about the work that you've had to do, that you've had to learn to have self-serving rather than self-destructive choices, which is completely natural and completely normal, and a phase almost everybody goes through. Honest to goodness, if you're like, hey, oh, look at that. True love decided it wanted out in a big bad way, and I have true love here as well. So we have 2 cards of true love. You're meeting somebody in a 3D or a practical matter, that it's being a 2 of Cups sort of connection, but that they kind of have to overcome your fears of the past repeating itself. Remember, if you've done the work, it will not. Here we go, 1 and 2 and 3. Let's see if we have one more on the romance angels, and then we're going to start talking about the cards and start wrapping this up. We're going to keep this as short and sweet as possible. Religious factor. Your love life is influenced by your religious upbringing and spiritual path. Quite frequently, that whole we will get held in stasis. Reconciliation would be next. Someone from your past is returning to your life. Listen, I've got 0 twin flame stuff, 0 in separation stuff, but understand this can be a past life connection as well. It can actually be somebody coming back. I have 0 cards to indicate that. Now the 6 of Wands potentially, but it's not in the right position. So this is not a twin flame dynamic. This is somebody finding somebody new after a period of learning the lessons. You've transformed into a person who is self-sufficient. You don't look to another to meet your emotional needs. You know that ultimately it's okay to need support sometimes, but for the most part, we need to know how to be happy by ourselves, and we need to know how to take care of ourselves. Relationships don't exist to do that, you know? In a healthy dynamic, Your relationship is there to fill your love space, and it's not need-based. And that's the difference between a codependent relationship and a healthy relationship, is you know that you'd be fine without that person, you simply prefer and love that person. And why is that so important? Because it takes away the potential power of somebody to keep you in this abusive power relationship. Because that's what happens when we look to our relationships to do too much in our lives, is we will linger in the wrong ones too long, and will accept treatment that is not worthy of us. And one of the things I said at the very top of this is to hold people kind of to a standard on that, to make sure that you're not excusing away their behavior with what you assume their motives are. Go by what somebody has done and said primarily. If your relationship exists primarily in tarot card readings, understand that you need to be in a more grounded energy to have a 3D relationship that will work well. So work on your 3D stuff and reassess. And that person may still be for you, but you will be in a healthier energy and they will be able to be part of your life more easily. But beauty queen, work, and true love. Somebody is just gonna be smitten with you is what it looks like. And then again, do not judge your relationship past as being indicative of your future. If you've done your work, if you've done your healing, if you've been on your path, which we have the religious factors, which is about if you have been by yourself for so long that you're like, this is just my natural state of being, they were trying to help you heal so that this particular energy could never come back towards you. But you've done all of the work here. Forgive yourself for any relationship mistakes you've had in the past. And ultimately, what you have coming towards you is a Two of Cups and a new, fresh start, because the world in reverse is about a new cycle beginning. You seem to be afraid of connection after a potentially tumultuous or, kind of traumatizing type of relationship with this starting over after somebody who either made you feel powerless or abused their power over you. Because here's the thing, things get worse by degrees, and you can start out in a slightly unbalanced relationship and it does nothing but get worse because there is a power dynamic differential at the base of it. If you need somebody rather than love them, that gives them more power over you. But here's the thing, what I've got on this pile, number one, is you've done your work, you've got somebody coming in, and your only real problem is that you might shut it out from a fear-based place. Believe in yourself. That is the forgiveness of self as well. That is the releasing all guilt energy. If you haven't been the best at relationships, know that you have most of the planet in common with that. Seriously, almost everybody I meet has had to go through their stumbles and their less than glorious relationships to get to the point of understanding what they truly need and deserve. And you will only accept somebody into your life who chooses you, rather than you sitting and waiting and hoping they will choose you. Meaning you will not be left in the dark about somebody's interest if they are truly interested in you and not simply doing their own work. Because sometimes that will happen. We meet people with matching energy and matching damage. If you've healed all of your stuff, then go forward in this world being open to what the universe is trying to bring you, because they asked you to learn those lessons for a reason, and it wasn't so that you could spend the rest of eternity alone. Allow love to come to you. Allow love to come to you. Pile number one, that was your message. Thank you so much for joining me. If you want to book me for a private reading, there's a link to my website in the description box down below. That is the only way to book me. And don't forget to look for my new podcast, Logical Magic Examining Esoterica. I hope that your new love finds you and that they do not have to break down the door to get to you. Take care. Be well. Welcome back. If you chose pile number two, this is your reading. We're putting the number two over there. There will be timestamps in the description box down below, but that's so people can fast forward to their reading easily. The Amira Love Deck was marking your pile. We will get one oracle card from all the piles that started this out. Let's get going here. What is coming up in love for pile number two? What is coming up in love for pile number two? We're taking an 8 to 10 card spread, depending on whether or not we need the two qualifiers. First pile did. I might just go with the 10 after that. Here we go. 10 being the number of complete cycles. Let's get going. And fulfillment. Here we go. And security. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. What do we got for pile number 2. Hey, please don't forget to subscribe. It helps my channel. If you want to book me for a private reading, there is a link to my website in the description box down below. This is the Six of Swords in reverse. That's the only way to book me. Let's get going with this reading. The Six of Swords in reverse can be like the death of something sometimes, or delay on something. And then I have it with the Ace of Pentacles in the upright. The ace, all of the aces are about new beginnings. The Ace of Pentacles in particular, which is about that Capricorn, Virgo, or Taurus energy. But I don't go by astrology too much in these cards because astrology is very complex. Somebody's sun sign doesn't tell you everything you need. Six of Pentacles in reverse, which can be non-reciprocal relationships. Both of your sixes are in reverse. You may have had to return to a state of energetic balance. With the King of Swords in reverse. Past is looking a little murky here. Let's go with the, oh, I beg your pardon. That's the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. This is the Six of Pentacles in the upright. This is the Knight of Swords in reverse, which is about electronic exchanges, sometimes text messages. This is the Ten of Cups in reverse, which can be a divorce. And then I have the King of Pentacles in the upright. We're going to go ahead and take 2 cards, which is the Nine of Cups in the upright, wish fulfillment, with the Lovers in reverse, which is being in full alignment with your higher self. Okay, so group number 2, this is actually kind of a good looking read. But it does look like things were a little bit delayed for you as you tried to get yourself into a state of energetic balance. I do not know if you noticed, but 6 in reverse, 6 in the upright, this is what's called a download code. And that means that your energetic balance had to be restored potentially after, because this is a card of mastering a lesson, but it might have taken you longer than you wanted it to. Meaning that you might be one of those, remember, we see people as we are. And so sometimes it's hard to spot dark motives or somebody who is, this is an avoidant person, avoiding a particular truth. Here's the thing, I have somebody new coming in. Again, looks like a 3D meeting, which that I like with the Nine of Cups, which is wish fulfillment. It is life is a bounty. The thing that I like is it's almost, if you've always been a romantic person, but like recently it feels like love has done nothing but kick your butt. It looks to me like you've got some dreams coming true around the idea of like soulmates and good, strong, sturdy, loving relationships. This is one in which it's like you almost had to learn how to convey your emotional truths easily because you had to learn lessons around that. And the Knight of Swords in reverse can be about anger management as well. Hey, by the way, if you have struggled with communication during conflict, understand that your initial style in having conflict will reflect and mirror what you grew up around. We do what we learn. So forgive yourself for needing to learn new and healthier things. Almost everybody has to. There's some relationship dysfunction being hinted at here with this Ten of Cups in reverse, which is usually, you may have been a child from a family of divorce. And so that has a tendency to, because kids can't understand that adults' relationships are about the adults in it. They always think that they've done something and somehow they weren't lovable enough for the other parent to stick around. And remember, it is actually much worse to grow up with parents who kind of hate each other, quite frankly. So most adults are choosing to try and do the best thing for their children, understanding that they are becoming increasingly toxic and that it's a very good idea to leave the relationship behind. And it kind of looks to me here as if you might have been from one of those backgrounds. But this is somebody, the King of Pentacles is somebody who is secure. It can be Capricorn, Virgo, or Taurus energy. But again, I don't really go simply by somebody's sun sign. This is more likely to be a 3D or a practical meeting because I don't have any of the things that suggest dating app energy. We're going to have to normalize people meeting in the 3D again because everybody has a dating app horror story. There are good and decent people on dating apps. You just kind of have to, got to kiss a lot of frogs sometimes is genuinely what happens to people. The Lovers in reverse, though, is a card of being in alignment with your highest self, being in charge of your real choices. If you've particularly been spending some time alone trying to heal from something, know that you've done the job. If you're in a relationship in which you have struggled, it looks to me as if you, and by the way, it's an in the relationship. This is not an in separation energy. I don't have any of the cards for me that indicate that. If you're in a relationship that has been struggling, understand doing your individual work is the thing that will help it the most. because this is about learning different lessons from your family of origin. It does look to me like you've done a lot of that work. If you're watching this reading wondering if it's time to get back out there, this reading is saying yes, it is. Let's get a little bit more on this. The King of Swords in reverse on top of that King of Pentacles in the upright, the King of Coins, is interesting to me because there's this energy of somebody who like lied effortlessly in your past. And they weren't doing it because they were duplicitous, but because they were hiding from a difficult emotional truth is what it looks like. I have vulnerability. Now, I see this card. I'm a keyword reader, meaning you're welcome to read this. You can be completely open with this person. This I do not believe is in your life yet, but vulnerability can also be when we're held in stasis because we're vulnerable. Like we don't recognize that we aren't particularly healed and we want another relationship, usually following a difficult breakup, which is what that Ten of Cups in reverse can mean. Fate. This is a destined partnership. And I want one more on it. Whoo, boy, this card's going to be all over this because it's about healing inner child work. Our relationship dynamics are informed by our formative experience. That is universal. Now, some people will go directly into some kind of therapeutic environment and learn their lessons very early, but for the most part, most of us have to learn them through sometimes bitter experience. But I have somebody who is very financially secure and like actually is who they say they are, because this is kind of a what you see is what you get energy when you get that King of Pentacles in the upright. Remember, this is not gendered because gender actually really is meaningless in tarot. The kings are about manifestation and the queens are about gestation. And so because we all contain masculine and feminine energies, this is just somebody who's got their poop in a group and knows why they're there. Let's get going for an Amira love card or two. Let's see how we go with this 1 and 2. What have we got coming up for pile number 2 in love? 1, 2, and 3. It's been a while since I've done a love reading, and this is very positive stuff. Here we go. Dating. There we go. With fair male, lighter than darker. And then I have it with mature woman, socialite, connector, high society. Now, mature woman can simply be somebody who has learned the lessons that they need to in order to make progress. It does look to me like you have somebody who is likely fair-haired and has, lighter eyes. Doesn't have to be. It can be somebody who is also quite fair-minded. With that mature woman energy, can it be a lighter, like an older male as well? Quite frankly, there's a card in that deck for older males. So mature simply means you have emotionally matured. This is something I'm always trying to get people to understand. If you grew up in traumatic circumstances, do not think of this as being immature, because that's not what it means. It means that if you had to take on adult roles in a family situation, which a lot of kids from divorce do, some of your emotional maturation got put on a shelf, like you didn't have time for it. You had to assume adult responsibilities. Sometimes being surrounded by difficult emotional situations will do that. And you just have to do the work as you become an adult to make sure that you bring up that last part of yourself, which usually has to do with self-confidence, what we deserve, and what we are worth. And that mature woman card is saying that you have in your love space, which is what the feminine will often represent, you in your love space, you have healed and learned those lessons. Let's get what is this? One of the lover oracles. There we go. We're going to put this down and cut. I hardly ever bring this out in front of clients because it's so difficult to shuffle. When you pass from this world, you take nothing with you but your soul and the memories you have shared with those you love. Please remember that love in all of its forms brings us something. Even like when we've had kind of traumatic instances, that does not define love for all time. Vulnerability, fate, and children. The children card can really be saying that you're about to meet the person that you have that kind of life partner energy with. But to remember that if you're just getting out there and dating, overinvestment too soon is one of the hallmarks of codependency. So just kind of keep yourself on a leash. If you've just met somebody new and you have been recovering from potentially difficult, emotionally challenging, or toxic situations from your past, then what you want to do is take it slowly. Like you only talk to that person 2 nights a week for the first 6 months. And does that sound extreme? Hey, listen, if you've been on that healing journey, you're like, yeah, no, that sounds about right. I don't want to go down a difficult or destructive path again. We have materialism. Hey, that really fits with the King of Pentacle energies there. Could be somebody coming to you through a work environment. Could be somebody who has established themselves. I do not get the sense that this is going to be an 18-year-old person's card pile. Honest to goodness. There's just all of this having learned lessons, having to have matured. Now, is it possible? Of course, because everything is different for different people. Some people mature at different rates. So some of the 18-year-olds that you meet will be as emotionally mature as some 45-year-olds you meet, and vice versa. There we go. What do we got here? Craftsmanship. Looks like through work. Leave past behind, new inspiration, and then competition and challenge, sudden change, sudden progress, and change. So I took a lot on that because it was having a hard time. And that's what happened with pile number 1 as well. It seemed to be talking as much about the past as it is about the future. If you have sought relationships for a feeling of security in the past, you had to learn how to make yourself secure, how to feel confident in your own life. Leaving the past behind, new inspiration is a new relationship. Competition and challenge, sudden progress, and change. Now the competition and progress card, hey listen, it's always... If there are multiple people in the background, for real, if somebody's not choosing you, let them go. Let them go. They don't really deserve you if they can't see how special you are. And that's advice that I give to almost anybody. Can people get involved in their own work and be confused? Of course they can. But for the most part, prioritize your own health, your own emotional health, which also includes not accepting treatment that is not worthy of you. And that's enough on that. Let's get some wellness cards because I have somebody new coming in and it looks like it might be a dating relationship, whereas like you're not going to get the full outcome on it because it's not time for you to have the full outcome on it. Let's get some wellness cards here. 1 and 2 and 3. There's been a delay on this though, so you should feel like really, really quite frustrated. Dating, fair male, mature woman. Don't think it's not worth it to have relationships of a shorter duration. You could have a really great time and find yourself choosing like in a very healthy fashion for you. I'm sorry, I had to keep adjusting my camera. Keys on a ring. There we go. Many options, decision, unconventional, string along, one night stand. Engagement, partnership, commitment, eternity, completion, and union. Hammer, sabotage, rebuilding, interrogation, repetitive, persistent working on it. And then I got the Grim Reaper. This relationship is over. No second chances. Grow and transform your life. And I want more on... I'm going to explain something about this. This can be a Scorpio because it's the death card. Be lighthearted, finding out, things coming to light, adapt, change, and heal. Well, group number 2. It looks to me like you have to release a difficult relationship from the past in order to bring new energies in towards you. Because remember, if a relationship is over, grow and transform your life. Take the lessons from it and then move forward. Like I said, it can also be a Scorpio. But the dragonfly, be lighthearted, finding out, things coming to light, adapt, change, and heal. If you have healed from difficult or toxic relationship dynamics, it can take a little bit for you to be able to like really put relationships in the proper perspective. And that's a little bit what I've got here, is that you've done the work so that you can kind of feel... Sorry about that. I had to pause for a moment because the world's loudest lawn service was outside. So the wellness cards are talking to you about releasing past relationships and adapting to the present circumstances and allowing yourself to release your ex. My goodness, everybody wants you to know it's time to let go of the past. And that to be open to the idea that like maybe the first person you meet is not going to be your forever person, but rather somebody who gets you back in the groove of understanding that, you know what? Dating, oh wow, they really want you to know. Free yourself, retreat. It's time to disconnect from the world. If you look in the guidebook for the romance angels, what it will tell you is that the retreat energy can be meeting somebody new and kind of like, you know, you're closed up behind, you're enjoying each other behind closed doors type of energy. So it can be a retreat. We are going to get one more card on it, finances and career. All right, so group number 2. It looks to me like it's not quite time for like your person, but maybe it's time to start considering relationships again. Now, please don't resent that because enjoying your life just as you is one of the most powerful things that you can do. Enjoying dating for like, well, who's going to pay attention to me? Who's going to make me feel good about myself? Not taking it too seriously. The vulnerability, fate, and children. Part of your healing journey may be being asked to have relationships that are not meant to go they're not meant to go the distance. Meaning that not over investing in relationships where you can date just to have fun. Now, listen, if that does not sound like something that you want, understand the divine will never ask you to have a relationship you don't want. So if that is something where you're like, yeah, I just have zero interest in doing that, understand that you may simply have opportunities and that we can say yes or we can say no. It is always within our power. Let's get a soul helper card because this one looks like you're still healing from things. That you may need to release somebody from the past and start allowing the idea of somebody new to come in. This is lost in the ruins of the past, find the way to the present moment and live. And then I have flames of desire, let them shine out in a radiant and shun dark paths. Hey, listen, group number 2. Your energy on this is the cards are saying, remember, one of the ways to be in a healthy energy is to not accept treatment that is not worthy of you. So if somebody has been, like if somebody ghosted you and you haven't heard from them in years, then maybe let them go because they're not prioritizing you. Don't prioritize them. Remember, the people that are meant for you cannot be kept from you. So it won't do anything to, if I let that person go, nothing will happen between us. That's not what that means. It means that you'll be living in your healthy energy, including not sitting on a shelf and waiting for anybody. And it looks like your first forays into dating may be just that, about dating, about getting back out there. Let go of the past and move forward into the future in order to bring about new energies. This is lost in the ruins of the past. Find the way to the present moment and live. Please don't sit and wait for anybody. Because unless they're sitting and waiting for you, that is automatically a non-reciprocal relationship. And the healthiest thing you can do is to release that connection and allow the people who would truly appreciate you and truly prioritize you to come towards you. So group number 2, listen, if you hear that message and it's deeply upsetting to you, it's either not the time for you to hear it or it's not your message. And I may not be the reader for you, and that's absolutely fine. But for group number 2, you're being asked to release the past and to allow people are interested in you, allow them to be. Not every relationship has to be about having a long-term partner. And again, if you're not interested in that at all as a concept, that's absolutely fine. But understand that you're making the choice rather than it being inflicted upon you. And that's just one of the things the guides want you to know, is that if you will only accept the love of your life, then you might spend some time alone as you're waiting. And this is something I have such trouble getting people to hear and to understand, that your guides are telling you this because they care about you. If you are in separation from somebody who has not prioritized you and not treated you properly, examine why you are allowing yourself to be treated poorly and continuing to love somebody. Because in a twin flame dynamic in particular, you have to heal in order for union to come about. And allowing poor treatment in the name of love is something that you might have learned as a normal thing in your growing up experience, and it is the lesson that you need to learn and the door that you need to close so that only the love that is worthy for you can stay with you and truly fulfill your life. And dating can show you the ways in which I don't over prioritize relationships. I'm not looking for my person every time I turn around, because allowing your person to be somebody that comes to you in a natural fashion when you are ready, and enjoying the company of others, because sometimes it's pleasant to find out how we are viewed by others, is what dating is for. Okay, that was your love reading for group number 2. If you want to book me for a private reading, there is a link to my website in the description box down below. Don't forget to look for my new podcast, Logical Magic, Examining Esoterica. And don't be disheartened by this, because there were multiple indications that people are interested in you. Don't think that you've been left to... People are interested in you. Examine why you won't return that interest, potentially because of somebody who has not treated you properly. Only accept the worthy into your life. Take care. Be well. Welcome back. If you chose pile number 3, this is your reading. We're putting the number 3 over there so that people can easily fast forward to their pile, but there will be a timestamp in the description box down below. The Sun and Moon Tarot will be bringing you your 8 to 10 card predictive spread. The Lover's Oracle was the one that was marked in the pile, but there will be a card from every Oracle card deck in every pile. This has been interesting and diverse. Let's get going for pile number 3. What's coming up for them in love? What's going on in love for pile number 3? Hey guys, please don't forget to subscribe. Helps my channel. If you like the reading, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. And if you want to book me for a private reading, there is a link to my website in the description box down below. 9 of Cups in reverse starts this out, which is a feeling sometimes of disappointment. Sometimes it's a delayed wish. Sometimes it's been delayed so long that it's almost like it almost feels like the universe has insulted you. With the Fool in reverse, feeling foolish sometimes, needing to watch your step, maybe being overly cautious in your love space. 7 of Swords in reverse, which is clarity. Sometimes it is facing truth. Sometimes it is being caught red-handed. Like understanding who somebody in your past has been is one of the meanings of it. Princess of Pentacles in reverse. Sometimes it's a failure to learn a lesson. Now remember, these are going to be the past energies. Don't worry about this part. With the 10 of Pentacles in reverse. And then I've got that with the 9 of Wands in reverse, dropping your guard. I have the Prince of Swords in the upright, which is communication. I have the 3 of Cups in reverse. It's interesting. So listen, it looks to me like you might have been involved in a third-party situation. It's been confusing and disappointing overall. One of the meanings of the 10 of Pentacles in reverse is about confusion. One of the meanings of the 9 of Cups in reverse is about disappointment. The 9 of Wands in reverse can be about dropping your guard, but sometimes it's knowing what battles you should and shouldn't engage in. This is a lot of like needing to face some difficult truth around a relationship from the past in order to learn the lessons it was trying to teach you about prioritizing self, which is one of the meanings of the 3 of Cups in reverse, but it can also be a third-party situation. In almost every third-party situation, it's rare that there's any reason for it to drag on for any length of time. Meaning it can happen. Not all third-party situations are equal. If you meet somebody and they're in a relationship, then understand that, people get caught up in all kinds of, it can be about children, it can be about illness, it can be about finances. People remain and linger in relationships that are kind of dead, long past the point that they should. However, if it continues to drag on, understand that that person has work to do in prioritizing their own needs, that they're trying to heal something. It's almost always the best idea to release it and to move forward. And then I have that with the 4 of Pentacles in the upright, which is holding on to something. With the 4 of Swords in the upright, which is taking a pause and taking a rest and learning to regard things in a peaceful state. Listen, this one's a little tough because kind of what it's saying is that it looks like this might be a third-party situation for some people. For other people, it's telling you that you need to learn the lesson of your own worth. You need to learn how to be by yourself and be happy. And why is that so important? When readers talk about you need to love yourself first, it is not about you can't have a person until you're in some perfect and blissful state. What it is saying is that when we love ourselves, we will not accept treatment that does anything other than honor that. If somebody has been routinely choosing somebody else over you, maybe the lesson you're being asked to confront is, why would they do that if I'm important to them? I want somebody who I know I'm important to them. I don't want to be guessing. And that is just a for instance. This is not particular to this pile. It's just a for instance of what that lesson might be. That, making sure that you are the same level of focus of the person that you are interested in as they are for you is one of the ways that you have a healthier relationship. And it looks like you're a little insecure in a connection that you have, and that there might be a third-party action on this. This is saying kind of reflect on why that might be. Ask yourself, why am I accepting less than I deserve in this particular instance? And if somebody will not prioritize you and not choose you, that is giving you a preview of what your relationship is likely to be like unless they're doing their healing work. So just consider that decision It's time to decide about this relationship. I'm telling you, there's something going on here. Rejection. This rejection is actually divine protection. And then it's coming out with mastery. You've learned the spiritual lesson. Listen, I know this isn't going to be a popular pile, but sometimes we need to hear things that are difficult in order to heal from them. Here's the deal with rejection, particularly for people who were born into families that had a lot of dysfunction, or sometimes it was divorce. Rejection can be a very difficult energy to overcome. It's called the mother wound. When you feel rejected by your mother, it can make rejection very, very difficult to take. And I see it a lot in twin flame dynamics that are actually karmic relationships, which they can mirror each other very, very closely. And it happens very frequently. And by the way, if you're hearing this and it is deeply, deeply upsetting to you, this is not your reading. The truth will not upset you. Even if it's difficult to hear, you will be able to acknowledge that it's like, that sounds about right. Our spirit guides are never emotionally terrorizing us. And this is in fact saying that you've learned that lesson, that maybe you understand that, hey, maybe what happened in this situation was that it was difficult for me to accept rejection because it bumped into my old wounds. And going backwards and healing the old wounds, understanding that even if you were rejected by a parent, that's not about your worth, but rather about the work they had to do, their own state of being, and their own ability to give and receive love. Because we do what we have seen for the most part. And most people didn't grow up in the healthiest atmospheres, so they don't know how to have healthy love. Teaching yourself how to have healthy love and being cautious with who you allow into your life. Because this is about disappointment leading you to be cautious, leading you to face a difficult truth, and trying to learn the lessons about only allowing the worthy to enter and to remain. And if somebody has not chosen you and seemingly chosen another person, understand that has nothing to do with your worth, but rather about the work that perhaps you need to do or the work they need to do. It is not about you not being lovable. It's about you not having a matching energy to that person and them needing to do more work. If somebody has engaged your heart and not treated it properly, that tells you that they have healing to do. But the mastering there is you've learned the spiritual lesson. Let's go ahead. I reached for the Island Wellness cards almost immediately. We will get other cards on this. Engagement ring, engagement, partnership, commitment, eternity, completion, and union. Hammer, sabotage, rebuilding, interrogation, repetitive, persistent, working on it. Because our initial relationships, and sometimes throughout the course of our lives, if we don't look at the lesson that we're being asked to learn, our relationships reflect our wounds. And so every relationship that comes to you is trying to help you hold up a mirror and look inside of you. With the sword in the road, clarity, truth, revelation, solidarity, force, honor, protection, and power. This is a card for clarity. And then Cupid's arrow, have faith, love is coming, surprise invitation or meeting, hesitation. The Phoenix, new phase, rekindle, renew, transformation, growth, and changed mind. I don't have somebody coming back in this. What I have is the need to stop and to reflect on, this is again, if you're not in a difficult, like in separation or third party situation, this is not your pile. This is a message for somebody who is, please don't take it personally. It is not a judgment of your worth, but rather the readiness of the person that you feel very attached to, and to understand that the attachment that you feel might in fact have to do with trying to deal with healing your inner child, which happens to absolutely everybody. It doesn't mean you're broken. It doesn't mean that you'll never have love. What it means is you're being asked to examine, am I only accepting those who truly deserve me into my life? And once you do, then love, the real love that you want so much, will come to you. But people, it's normal because our heart gets set on something. But sometimes we're looking to the wrong individuals. People can't give what they don't have. And in third-party situations, and frequently in situations where people are in separation, that person might be healing, but if you really are their twin flame, the way to bring about union is to heal, to let go of them and to recognize they're not treating me right. They'd have to do a lot of work to be worthy of the person that I am making sure that I am when it comes to love. At the heart of most twin flame dynamics, unfortunately, is somebody being emotionally neglected while somebody else seems to move on with their life. But that other person is waiting for them. Please don't sit and wait for people. If you sit and wait for people, you're holding open a space, you're holding space for somebody that may not be ready to occupy it. Doesn't mean they never will be, but they've got work to do. Dark male, darker than lighter. Twin flame. I kind of knew, pardon me, I really did just almost drop an F-bomb there, but I didn't. I knew that it was a twin flame situation. Home, property, real estate, residence, and then I've got children. It looks to me, communication. Healing, children can be about healing your inner child. This looks like a twin flame separation thing where it is a third party at this particular point, and they may be in a relationship. They may in fact be married. They may be expecting a child with this child card, or they may be staying because of children. Here's the thing, please don't linger in an energy that is not worthy of you. If somebody has decided that they want to prioritize their family relationship, let them and go forward. If somebody's trying to let you go, let them. Because all they're telling you is that they're not willing to do the work to make sure that they receive your love. They're willing to take what you are offering and offer little in return, and that's not worthy of you. And again, I've got this rejection energy. Please understand that most twin flame dynamics are trying to help us because sometimes it's not the lifetime for it. The easiest way to bring about any form of union and to find the love that you truly deserve is to do your own work and to leave them to do theirs. And to, again, simply ask yourself, is this how I wish to be treated? Because it is a preview of how they would treat you if they were in a relationship. If somebody is breaking their commitments to another person, what are they telling you about how they treat commitment? And I get that, I get it. Thumbs down are going to be flying. But please hear me because you deserve real love. Let's go for what do we got here? Soulmate. Your soulmate is already with you in spirit. Believe this and they will manifest physically. And I'm going to take one more on this reflection. Give each other some space at the moment. Trust and have faith that all will work out for the best. All will work out for the best. Here's the thing. If you're in a twin flame dynamic, because I have the twin flame card, understand that the easiest way to bring about resolution is to let go. To do your healing work, to be like, you know what, that person I had a deep connection with, may not be ready for me because I've been working on myself. I've been exploring my own power. I have been deciding that only the love that is truly worthy of me will be in my life. People particularly in tarot, will get very upset if there isn't a relationship when they want a relationship. If you want a relationship because you're unhappy in your current state of being, understand that finding the person or having the person return to you will not actually alter that for long. It would be a temporary thing because your happiness is not coming from within, it is coming from without. And if somebody is bringing you happiness or somebody else is your sole source of happiness, please listen to this. It gives them so much power over your personal happiness. And that creates an uneven power dynamic within relationships. Be happy as you are, who you are, and to love yourself enough to say, I will not take the crumbs from anybody's table. Either they're offering me a full banquet or I am moving on to another dining establishment. Here we go. We have reassessment, learning and training. This has been a very, very varied read. And like I said, people aren't going to like this particular pile, but it's necessary. Twin flames are very intriguing as a spiritual concept. In the 3D, and it's a real connection, but in the 3D, if somebody's actions do not match with what you believe the connection to be reflecting, examine why you're putting more emphasis and more importance on other than the 3D, on the spiritual connection, because it has to exist in all dimensions to be the real deal. Moving on, and escape, financial matters, loss issues, karmic bond, it's a karmic relationship, and then take a stand. So Group number 3, I realize I'm making myself pretty unpopular here. If this is a twin flame dynamic, you are being asked to learn the lessons about what it is teaching you about what you are willing to accept. If somebody has treated you poorly, please don't think you understand what their motives are. Go by the way that they've acted and judge there, because that's the way that will keep you safe in the 3D. That's what will bring you true and actual love. But give each other space. Love yourself first, just codependency. All right. Codependency is when we lose our identity to a relationship or the idea of a relationship, where we think our worth is wrapped up in whether or not somebody will choose us. I'm going to get one more. You may be in a stage of when people say love yourself first, when readers say that, they are not saying you're doing something wrong. But rather, if you are willing to accept treatment that is not truly worthy of you, you are not treating yourself as being lovable. Because you shouldn't have to fight for anyone's love. New love. A new person has stirred your romantic feelings. It looks to me like you're being asked to open yourself up to healing and to the idea that the person, if this is a twin flame situation, to really take a close look at you. Your soulmate is already with you in spirit, believe this, and they will manifest physically. But if somebody has treated you poorly within the 3D, ask yourself why that is treatment that you are willing to overlook. Because that's the root of what you need to heal. Decision, rejection, and then mastery. It's trying to teach you a lesson about your worth, which is don't accept less than you are worth. We have the sabotage. Sometimes we are self-sabotaging in relationships. Like I said, nobody's going to like this particular pile, and I apologize for it. But I would rather give a difficult relationship reading that doesn't necessarily have people jumping up and down for joy, because in order to get past this phase of learning the lesson about your worth, about what real love is, you have to face it. You have to face difficult truths sometimes. And listen, if you're hearing this and you're like, there's just no way that you're talking about my situation. This appears to be a third-party situation. Your person likely is married, because I had multiple cards from the Amira Love deck that said that they are married, and they may be either planning a family with that person or they may be staying because of children. And here's the thing, in a lot of third-party situations, people will go outside of their primary relationship because they have intimacy issues. And you're not going to get the best love experience from somebody who's still struggling with their intimacy issues. Protect what you love. It is your duty and your responsibility. Being self-protective within your relationships is the easiest way to guarantee that you will receive the treatment that is truly worthy of you. And then you are unique. Be brave, a little crazy, but yourself. Be yourself. The cure for codependence is independence. And it doesn't mean you have to stay by yourself, and you can date while you're learning how to be emotionally and financially self-sufficient, which is really the key to releasing codependency. Also understanding whether or not somebody loves you back has nothing to do, or chooses you, has nothing to do with whether you're lovable or whether you're worthy. You are lovable and you are worthy. You may have lessons to learn and wounds to heal, but we all do. So pile number 3, I'm sorry that is not more like, hey, you're getting engaged next week. But you are being asked to, and again, you will know if this situation truly applies to you, ask yourself why it might be that somebody is not prioritizing you in the way that you truly deserve. And is that really, here's the thing, if you're with somebody who went outside their relationship to be with you, are you sure you're ever going to be able to trust them if they're in a relationship? Because you'd always be looking over your shoulder. And not everybody who goes outside of their relationship is a serial cheater. But like I said, third-party situations resolve quickly if they are made from healthy material, and they linger on when somebody has more work to do. And partners aren't projects. Partners aren't projects. Don't wait for somebody to do their work. Do yours. And the way that you view who you think is worthy of you is very likely to change, and you'll only accept people who treat you with the same level of importance that you convey towards them. Group number 3, slightly difficult message, but always a necessary one. That was about a third-party situation that you're just being asked to examine for, does this really treat me in the way that I deserve to be treated? And the answer will be individual. I'm sorry it wasn't more positive, but take care and be well. Welcome back. If you chose pile number 4, this is your reading. We're putting the number 4 over there. There will be timestamps in the description box down below so that you can easily fast forward to your reading. This is the Higher Love Oracle that will bring you some oracle cards. We're going to use the Everyday Witch for your predictive cards. That will be 8 to 10 cards. I've been using 10 on all of them, so I have a feeling we're just going to use 10. Hey guys, before I get started, please do not forget to subscribe. It helps my channel. And if you want to book me for a private reading, there's a link to my website in the description box down below. That's the only way to book me. But let's find out for pile number 4. What is coming up in love and relationships for them for pile number 4? Love and relationships. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. All right, guys. Oh, I also have a new podcast called Logical Magic, Examining Esoterica. It's on all the major services. I'm going to go ahead and leave those 2 there since they kind of leapt. I have the 7 of Swords in reverse, which is clarity and facing truth. The 10 of Wands in reverse, which is about releasing things that don't serve you. I have it with the 8 of Swords in the upright, which can be about doubts. I have the 8 of Cups in the upright. We've got 8 right in a row. That's about perpetual motion and progress. It is one of the energies for movement, but it looks like you have a lot of doubts around something after having faced the truth potentially about a difficult relationship in the past. With the 8 of Wands in reverse, you've officially got 8 right in a row. So an angel number 888 is one of the things that you might want to look up. 3 of Cups in reverse, it's an isolated energy. With the Queen of Cups in the upright, I have the Page of Wands in reverse, Page of Pentacles in reverse, Empress in reverse, with the Lovers in the upright. So that's a card for Geminis. It's also the card for meeting people. It's also like the innovation solution. Innovative solutions is one of the meanings of the Empress in reverse, because one of the meanings of the Empress is that she's endlessly resourceful. So, hey, group number 4. Lots of stuff going on here, and it kind of looks like you have been doing a lot of work to know your own worth. You might kind of block out connection a little bit because you're grieving on being by yourself, which is a really good energy. But it's also saying that even though you might be blocking out connection, like connection is seeking you out. This is somebody who has had to face potentially some truths about themselves, potentially about partners as well. You may have had to release a difficult connection with this 10 of Wands in reverse. The 8 of Swords in the upright is usually a no path forward, meaning that like there may have been somebody, and it might have been a third-party situation, that there just wasn't a way for it to work out in this particular lifetime, and so you moved on. But you've blocked out other forms of connection, potentially because you may have decided, well, love has not been a very positive experience for me, so I am just going to hang out and love me. Don't get caught in that phase. It's called the extreme independence phase in healing, and it means that you won't accept love and support, usually because things have let you down too much. When you're really healed, what other people do does not matter as much to you. Meaning if you met somebody and it didn't work out, you'd be like, at least it was a good dinner, or at least we had good sex, or at least we had, you would take what it was worth and leave behind any of the other lessons. They wouldn't be damaging to you. We have soulmate, goodness. This significant love relationship, and then soulmate. Major ending, new beginning. All right, so you released something that apparently was not serving you after facing potentially some difficult truth about yourself or another. But you're blocking out other forms of connection now, potentially because you've got the idea that you were being asked to heal so that you could be the lone wolf, be the person all by yourself. And that is not what the message was. It was saying that particularly if you've spent time by yourself and it wasn't your first choice, it was your spirit guides and particularly your higher self trying to help you only accept the love that was truly worthy of you to know your own worth. Now, sometimes when people get into that energy, they try to stay there forever because at least I'm safe now. Sure, you're safe, but you're also isolated. And watch that. Twin flame. This looks like a twin flame situation. Home that you released. Children has been all over this reading, and then communication. and then money. I didn't take 5 on the reason that I did that was it looks to me like you released a twin flame connection, knowing that it might be a karmic relationship in this incarnation, but that you're trying to, you became whole within, but now you're trying to be very singular. You might be focusing a little bit too much on finances and work, quite frankly, which is very common for people on a healing journey in love, is that they'll try and be like, okay, well, if love did not work out for me, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my primary relationship to be with my particular career. And then that's normal, but that's, putting all of the emphasis in another area of your life isn't any healthier. Have good friendships, have interests. Nobody ever has to have a relationship they don't want, but this particular energy is saying, hey, you're focusing on things that have less emotional fulfillment than your heart space actually needs. There are many ways to have love. We hear love and we think romantic love immediately, but it's the love of family, the love of community, the love of friends. I have denial, longing, time apart, apology, friendship, stability. I'm a keyword reader. You are welcome to read these paragraphs underneath, but they don't usually have a lot of impact on my readings because I am a, it's like you won't let yourself have connection, and that you're very focused on trying to find security and stability instead as the thing that will most likely make you happy. This is the thing, the longing, apology, time apart, apology, friendship, and then stability. I don't get a strong twin flame vibe off of this, even though I have a twin flame energy. It looks to me like the twin flame dynamic in this has been released as like maybe it's not our lifetime, which does happen. And it's not a bad thing. It's genuinely not a bad thing. It means that that person encountered you this time around to help you learn a lesson about your own worth, and that maybe in losing that connection, somebody who would have been so willing to give love, that person learned how to value it more. It differs from person to person. Let's get some Island Time Wellness cards. Now, is it possibly a returning twin flame? I'm going to be honest, I don't think so. I just don't have that. I don't have any returning energies on this. The longing can be about like cravings, and it can be about that feeling of, when we get our identity wrapped up in a relationship, that codependent energy. Longing, time apart, apology. Engagement ring. Engagement, partnership, commitment, eternity, completion, and union. With hammer. Sabotage, rebuilding, interrogation, repetitive, persistent, working on it. I'm going to take 2. Oh, twin flames, soulmates. And then I have paradise. Happiness, enjoying expansion, playfulness, oneness, enjoying each other. I just don't have the sense that it's a twin flame returning. I just don't. It looks to me more like you had to stop a damaging relationship pattern, and that you do have a soul connection coming in, but you're trying so hard to focus on like money and relationships. And the reason I keep saying I do not have the feeling, despite some cards from my oracle cards, that somebody's coming back, is quite frankly, the 8 of Cups is in the upright, the 10 of Wands is in reverse. That is moving on from something you have released. Twin flames are a difficult energy because they quite frequently are karmic relationships that we're being asked to learn from. Either way, there is a soulmate connection. And maybe the reason I'm not feeling it right here is it could be another twin flame. Can we have more than one twin flame? Yeah, actually we can. Because when you're on a more evolved soul, like you're basically, a twin flame is made from the same energy of you. It is split energy. If you are very evolved and you've come here to learn very deep lessons, you can have as many twin flames as somebody with the same energy signature. That's what a twin flame is, has come here to learn different lessons. And I'm having a hard time with this one because I kind of don't believe it's a twin flame returning. Instead, it feels like it is, oh, you thought that was a twin flame? No, that was your karmic partner. Your real twin flame, the person that is meant to be with you in this lifetime, is yet to come. But it looks to me like whatever that dynamic was may have been damaging enough that you're like, well, if it's not them, that's fine, but I'm fine by myself and no one's ever doing that to me again. Look inside yourself. Examine what is causing you to feel this way. Very interesting. This energy is about somebody who is in isolation. There is a twin flame energy involved in my oracle cards, but there's not on my in the tarot cards. Like there's nothing here that says twin flames. That is not my card for twin flames. And if it's your card, then they're my cards. I have a relationship to them. The Lovers in the upright is as likely to be about making healthy choices as it is anything else. Here we go. Soulmate. Your soulmate is already with you in spirit. I believe this, and they will manifest physically. I think that you released a difficult twin flame situation that was actually a karmic relationship, and that now you're very, like, you're not open to your basically divine partner in this lifetime. Remember, we can actually mistake a codependent dynamic for a twin flame situation because it feels that person has mirroring damage. And so it feels like they contain your answers when actually they contain your lessons about what you need to heal for yourself first. Let's get going here. Let's get a romance angel on this. What was this? Calling in your soulmate. Either way, pile number 4, we have soulmate energy. We have soulmate energy on this particular pile. Soulmates are an interesting concept, and they don't have to be romantic. We have healing soulmates. We have best friend soulmates. It's just, whoever this is, you're rejecting connection. Potentially because twin flame connection did you dirty and left you hanging with that 3 of Cups in reverse. Pay attention to the red flags. Let your friends help you. I've got friendships there as well. Pile number 4, what an interesting and kind of confusing energy we have on this one. I have people who are focusing way too much on their career and blocking out connection. I have someone who is potentially has been burned by a twin flame connection. I have the cards are indicating time apart apology. It's like you had to spend way too much time alone and now you think that's your natural state of being. Like I guess I'm saying if you are at the stage in healing where the idea of connection makes you scoff, that is not actually being healed. That's a stage in healing. If you're like, no, never again, who's coming out here? Live playfully and with a light heart. Listen to the voice of your inner child. I've got somebody who is likely rejecting connection after a difficult situation. Lost in the ruins of the past. Find the way to the present moment and live. You're not going to repeat this. The only way I'm getting twin flames here is that because it's not even showing up in the cards and I have clarity and releasing energies, it looks to me like you had to overcome a difficult situation. We're going to take one more on this. Feel the power of and blood of your ancestors. You are not alone. Please stop shutting yourself down to new connections. Because it looks to me like you just hold yourself apart from absolutely everybody at this particular point. That your inner child healing has given you the wrong message about what that twin flame connection might have been for. It was so that you could learn what was still holding you back in love. And remember, love is not just a romantic concept, but decision, longing, time apart, apology, friendship, and stability. It is possible for some people, even though it is not in my cards, and I hesitate to say this because when twin flames are, for some people, they're quite toxic, quite frankly. They hold them in an energy that is not healthy, and they keep hanging on for somebody who is not they're not doing healing work. They're engaging in runner activities, meaning that they have a fear of intimacy. And even if they love you, they may not have the strength, the courage, and the emotional honesty with themselves to look at the ways they need to heal. And so when it comes to twin flames, the answer is always, always, always release it. Because, and people get very angry about that, and there's nothing I can do about that because I've seen it play out before. And the only way to bring about a happy resolution is to let go of something that did not serve you, to look for the lesson rather than to wonder, when's my person going to be with me? When's my person going to be with me? Your real person wouldn't treat you poorly. It's, if somebody loves you and they're afraid of it, then let them be afraid, because love takes courage, and only the worthy should be allowed to linger for very long. And there is this energy of having overcome a twin flame connection, but then not being open to connection. And I will be honest, for some people, it really could be, hey, your twin flame is coming back. But the only way that's true is if you've healed from it and you're like, I don't think I want them. If that's your reaction, then potentially it really is a twin flame thing. If you're sitting and waiting for a twin flame, this twin flame with that 10 of Wands in reverse has been released. And the longing and apology and the time apart, your spirit guides want you to know that if you've been asked to spend more time alone than made you comfortable, it was because you could learn your own value and learn to love yourself in your own company. And that was the only thing it was for. It was not so that you had to live in seclusion as a hermit for the rest of your life. Try to be open to connection. And if your response is there are no good people, that is something to heal, because it's simply not true. Okay, so pile number 4, an interesting and a slightly convoluted energy where somebody still has emotional damage from a twin flame connection. And for some people, that twin flame wants to come back. And the only way it's going to apply to that particular pile is you've already released them and you don't want them back because they didn't treat you properly. And if they are coming back, they're coming back having done their work and ready to apologize. But for other people, you have overcome a twin flame connection, understanding that it was a karmic lesson in this lifetime, but you're not willing to allow yourself to connect because you think that all that will happen is that you will connect to somebody and it will happen again. If you have really healed, it will not, because no one will ever be more important to you than you are. You will never accept poor treatment in the name of love when you are healed. So that was a difficult one, but thank you for watching it. If you want to book me for a private reading, there is a link to my website in the description box down below. Thank you and take care.